Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back. We have the Benchmark rotary tool Dremel snake. This is a universal snake. It'll work on any Dremel, guaranteed. Okay, and you heard it from me, so hey, don't shoot the messenger, man. I'm telling you, it will work on any Dremel, okay? Seriously. This is quite the unique new style from what I'm used to for snakes. We picked up some Dremels yesterday. If you've been staying tuned to the Radley Dremels, you'll get the background story. So do check out Radley Dremel in my search engine, and you'll find those things and the reasons why we had to buy some Dremels. Anyway, so I got this behemoth here, and that's what this is more meant for, though it will work just fine on a cordless Dremel. However, it's going to suck a lot of horsepower from you, so you're not going to be able to do the same task that you did without the snake. So don't use a snake on a cordless Dremel, okay? Use it on something that plugs in the wall that actually has some puppy power, okay? Now, normally you would have a collar system type Dremel where you would remove the collar from your existing Dremel, just unscrew this thing, and you would, of course, feed some of that snake wire into here first, clamp this down initially so that it locks it, right? And then it would have its own collar, which would thread in. Now, these are not always 100% universal, especially when it comes to the Dremel brand Dremel. They tend to be a little anal about that sort of stuff, so they don't like being compatible with too many brands out there. But sometimes you get lucky and they do work, right? But there's getting to be fewer and fewer choices for snakes, and it's like, why? And fewer Dremels, even in packages like this. My last kit I bought like this, I paid, I think, about $50 for a few years ago. And I don't even remember where that Dremel went. I probably sold it. I don't know. Maybe it's somewhere in a box. I have no idea. My shop's a disaster anyways. So we bought one. $43 for this puppy. Comes with a package of bits, the whole thing. We got a review on this, all right? So what I want to do is I want to show you this whole universal deal and the upgrade that I wish they would have done years ago when we were doing gun grips, because even those snakes were a pain because you had to pull and yank back and twist and hold it back there and then try and finagle trying to get the stupid thing locked and unlocked, and sometimes the mechanism didn't work quite right. Oh, it was a frustrating thing. So finally, years after we're done making gun grips for everybody on the planet, they come up with this design with a locking button so that you can just twist and push and it's locked, and you can unscrew the headpiece, pop in your bits, change it out, and then you just let go of the button, give it a little twist, and you're back to free running, and voila. Okay, so how does this thing install on any Dremel? Okay, let's start with how you would install it on a cordless Dremel. Okay, this stupid thing jumped back to life. We don't know how, but anyways, this was the whole reason why we bought Dremels yesterday. Because, well, this one seemed to have been dead. So just undo your little thingy till the point where it's wide enough, and it'll pop the shaft in. And then you would just tighten up your shaft, take your wrench, crank her down, and away you go. Fire it up and you're good to rock and roll, okay? Now the thing is keep in mind, this chews a lot of horsepower, okay? Like too much for this small little guy. But it's not so restrictive on the other one. The other one will actually fire up sooner. So, but, shut off. There we go, unlock. So, there you go. There's your guarantee right in front of you. It'll even work on a cordless Dremel. But don't do it because this robs way too much power out of your Dremel. And that default's turning on at 15,000 RPM all the time, and that's not enough to even fire this up. You gotta crank it up really quick. My other one, it starts out at 5,000, it'll fire it up, it'll die quick, so you gotta get on the hop on that trigger. However, when you put it on the appropriate proper Dremel, let's plug this sucker in, because these snakes are made for powered Dremels, okay? They're not made for cordless jobbies. So same routine, you just lock your thing, stick her in, lock it down, Okay, now I'm just going to do this finger tight right now because I don't need to go anything more than that. Now my default speed is speed number 1, okay? It has no problem. You know, I can slow that down and stop it with my fingers. But these things do have a little bit of noise to them as well. Not a whole lot though. That's 35,000 RPM. Works great. I'm happy. So that was 20 bucks. Now for 20 bucks for something that'll work with any brand of Dremel rotary tool, that's a really great deal. Okay, and the fact that it has its own lock system up here, that's freaking awesome. I love it, right? Because now it makes it so much easier to change your bits in and out than trying to pull back some spring-loaded piece of garbage that, I mean, we used to overheat those things. We actually had a meltdown on one because we're sitting there for hours carving through this tough wood to make one of you people a set of grips, and it's like, this thing's getting hot, and then it starts to get gushy, and I'm like, well, I guess that one's toast. Let's go buy another one and maybe cut the speed back a little bit. That actually helped. Sometimes you run things a little bit too fast, you learn, but it's also is a very piss poor design in some of those snakes that we had. The other snakes that were better, they also, you know, they lasted a long time. But when you're rifling out a lot of pairs of gun grips for people, because that's what we did, is our main thing, yeah, you're going to go through a lot of snakes. It gets expensive to make grips, right? But at 20 bucks, this is also a much more solider type material. But like I said, like 10 years too late, guys. Like, Benchmark, you should have came onto the block a while ago with this. Anyway, would have made our lives less miserable. Because we went through a number of snakes, and we couldn't always just buy a new snake for a job-made Dremel, because that's what we used, and those Dremels never died. Like, I had one where the power switch failed, but I was able to replace the power switch for next to nothing, so no big deal, right? But otherwise, we've never had problems with the JobMate stuff, and JobMates, the kits we bought at least, always came with snakes. Because buying a third-party snake, it was hard to find one that was compatible, that was also affordable, right? But we did have to buy a few of them because the JobMate ones only lasted so long, and you know, and this is also a lot narrower, so we could get into much tighter areas if we were still making grips, because this would be so much better. We could do some really neat stuff now. But yeah, they didn't have this then, so, or anything even close to this kind of a head that would work the same way. So it's like, great. But it is 100% universal, no collars to screw with, no worrying about, is this going to be compatible with my Dremel? You don't even have to ask anybody. If you see the Benchmark thing that looks exactly like this, I will guarantee you right now, okay, on video, you have my word, it will clamp into any Dremel, okay? So it will work. Right? It's what it's made for. It's made for Dremel rotary tools. Regardless of the brand, it doesn't matter. Because they all have this sticking out of it, and it just sits right in there, and away you go, okay? But don't use them on cordless Dremels. These things take too much horsepower away on a cordless machine, okay? Those cordless ones, they're just meant to be used the way they are, and that's it, okay? Besides, they're nice, slim, sexy design. They can get into some nice tight areas too. They can do a lot of tasks. But if you need something where you're going to need a snake available to you, then you're going to be using this on a powered plug-in-the-wall style Dremel, whether it's Dremel Band Dremel or any brand out there, even any of the offshore Chinese brands. This thing's going to plug right into that sucker, and away you go, okay? You could even hook this up to a drill press, literally. And, you know, because I have a drill press. Now, mind you, it doesn't go to, you know, 30,000 RPM. But if I had something that would work within the RPM of maxing out the RPM of my drill press, and I needed a snake, why would I buy a drill press snake? Well, I do have one somewhere kicking around. But I could just use this and use the smaller collet that I need and just do that little bit of fine work that way. if this was going to be maybe too much speed, even at the lowest setting for what I needed to do, I could hook this to a drill press and get that lower speed I need to do the task, and it would actually work for that, literally, okay? So that is another little advantage to having something that's designed this way to work with anything that, you know, can clamp onto it, right? Anyhow, so I have no issue whatsoever at this point in the game. There will be an update around the same time period we update our reviews on the Radley Dremels. We'll also throw this into the works as well, because I know I'm going to be using this with this Dremel at least. Funny thing is, I actually did find my other snake. I thought I didn't even have a snake anymore. I did find my other snake that has the screw-on collar system, but I'm going to use this one because I want to know what it's going to be like in the long term, okay? So give me a few months. We'll get some update reviews going for you guys on all these in one big package to make a very fast, short video at the same time too, let you know how things are going. But I would say either way, I mean, I have no problem saying, hey, go out and buy this like right now, like 20 bucks. You're not going to go wrong, okay? If you do have a problem with it, then hey, just talk to your store where you got it from. I don't know who else sells Benchmark other than Home Hardware. I'm in Canada, so we do home hardware. But like I said, if there's anybody else doing Benchmark, then, you know, buy one of them. Like, we only paid 20 bucks Canadian for this. So that's a good deal. And it seems to be a well-made snake too. And I do love this whole thing with the locking button mechanism on here. It is fantastic. I wish they would have had that years ago when we were doing gun grips at that time, because it would have been so much better and less hassle and whatnot, because we went through a number of snakes over the years making grips for everybody, but that's part of the game, right? When you're trying to run a business and do stuff, like, you're going to have supplies that need to be replaced. But that would have been probably much better for even tighter contoured areas where we could have done some even fancier sculpting of grips that, unfortunately, with the other snakes of the time, we wouldn't have been able to do that sort of thing. We would have to have figured out some other way maybe, but this would make it just everything in one shot, one snake. So anyway, but that's what I got for you guys. That's where I'm at with it. I have no problem with a solid 4.5 out of 5. I think it deserves it, and for 20 bucks, you're not going to go wrong. I don't see it anyways. Just keep in mind, it's a piece of equipment, it's a tool. You take care of it, it takes care of you, and that's all there is to it. So, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. Do check out my videos on the Radley cordless and this particular Radley corded model as well. There is a specific model number, I think, for this thing. Probably not, but you'll be able to find it easy enough on my channel anyway. So there you go. We'll just call it a Radley cordless Dremel, Radley corded Dremel, and the Benchmark snake. But anyway, that's all I got. See you on the next one. Ciao.